get my 6. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid. I have a story for you today. It's about perhaps one of the strangest things I've ever run into while in the woods. That's kind of a general topic here. It wasn't a potential Bigfoot Sasquatch. It wasn't a ghost. I don't want to get ahead of myself. It deals with running, it deals with racing, and it was in the absolute middle of nowhere, and to this day it makes no sense. But before that, I want to show you about 6.5 minutes worth of footage from how we spent our morning this morning, this very early, very cold 28 degrees morning, and then I'm going to tell you the story. So check this out first.
Hey, Crazy Lake, what's the day?
Race day. It's 28 degrees. It's almost 8 a.m. here in downtown Charlottesville, and we are running the Shelter for Help and Emergency 5K. It's my first actual real race against other live human beings in 2 years, and been putting into miles. Lost 25 pounds this year. Went from 193 to 168. Been averaging 30 miles a week for about 3 months, and today I'm competing against myself. Ran this race 2 years ago, averaged 7:37 per mile pace. I was 12 pounds heavier. I wasn't nearly in the shape I'm in now. 2 years older, but I'm in better shape. It's not about age, it's about being in shape. There's a woman here that's 59 who will probably beat me, and she's proof that you don't stop playing because you get old because you stop playing. I stopped playing and I put on a lot of weight and I wasn't feeling so good. So today is not about beating anybody else except myself and my time from 2 years ago. It's a goal to average 7 minutes per mile. So to do that, I've got to watch that first mile and make sure I don't go out too fast. And if I hit it and maintain it through the second mile, I'm going to try to finish the third mile strong and maybe pick it up a bit. But I don't care if I finish 100th place. It's about the pace, not the place. Yep.
And by the way, the temperature now, it's 28 degrees.
Yep, like I said. And
it's so cold.
Miss Dearly, that's not very pleasant, is it? If you're from the South Pacific.
Nope.
So here's all my warm-ups. If you guys get, cold, you can wear my coat.
Yeah.
But I appreciate my wife and my kid coming out early.
Of
we got
course.
5:30 to come out and do this, so let's see how it goes. Coming off an injury, not to preface this with excuses, but the hamstring tear seems to be healed, and so whatever. Hope you enjoy a few clips of race day. Whether I hit the goal or not, look at this. I'm not showing off, but I haven't been this fit in 5 or 6 years. I haven't been this fit since before I was in the Army, I don't think. So it feels good, whether I run 7 miles or not.
Nervous about a race.
Good morning, everybody. We're going to start in just a few minutes.
Going that way, okay.
While we're waiting to start, I just wanted to make a few announcements. The first is...
Woo! Go, honey! Buddy, move.
Nice and smooth. I'm being conservative.
Wow, look at that beautiful sun. Say hi, buddy.
Hi, buddy.
We're just waiting here to Kevin. By the way, guys, the race it held here in Downtown Mall, Charlottesville, Virginia. Yeah, so beautiful, beautiful place. So this is the finish line. Look at what time now. It's 16:56 seconds. Here's the first one who finished the line.
In 19 minutes.
In 19 minutes and woo! Wow. 19 minutes and 28 seconds. Damn. That's amazing. Yep, he's number 1. Woo! My husband is coming. Woo! Yay! That's Kevin.
What's his name?
Kevin.
Kevin.
Go, honey! Yeah! Woo!
Yes.
He's number 6. He's
6.
woo! Yeah! Good job, honey! Wow! Oh, he finished 6th place. Good job! Wow! That's amazing!
Mama.
Wow!
6th place.
Yeah!
6th place. My dad is awesome.
Yes, he's awesome. Wow, that's amazing. Let's look for Kevin. Where is he? There he is. That's him. That's him. Yes, that's our chump. Wow. You did great, honey. You did great.
All right.
Wow.
Once again, I've proven the older I get, the better I was. And nod towards Muhammad Ali, who was the greatest. I used to be great. Now I'm going to cool down. I'm happy. I'm content.
Yeah, I'm so happy for you,
Didn't
honey.
get re-injured.
Congrats.
I'm healthy. Feel great. Maybe lost another pound. All right, so there you have it. Couple afterthought notes here. I mentioned there before the race I was shooting for 7-minute miles, and I also am coming off of injury. This is no excuse. This is called, I'm going to quote Ernest Hemingway here, one of my favorite writers ever. Ernest Hemingway said, "The truth about old men is not that they become wise, they become careful." So the gun went off. You saw us running up the hill there around that beautiful new building that they've just built in Charlottesville. It used to be the ice skating rink. And then we took a ride around the federal courthouse, and there was a good 200 to 300 meters worth of pretty decent downhill grade. And ordinarily what I do on the downhills is I just let it rip. I stride out and I fly, because that's where you make up your time, on the downhill. You don't make them up on the uphill, the time. So I was with that lead pack of 5 or 6 runners. They took off striding down the hill. My natural instinct was to go with them. And then I felt a very slight pang of my right hamstring, which I pulled about 2 weeks or so ago, that I've been very gingerly nursing back to health. It was 28 degrees, and my old man, been running for 30 plus years, mind said, yeah, you can go with them, and at what point are you going to pull that hamstring and have to drop out of this race? And so I said to myself, okay, maintain this pace. This is the pace you typically run at all times, whether you're going out and running 30 minutes or going out and running for 40 minutes. Now, when I run for an hour, which I've done 3 times in the last couple of months, for the first time in 15 years, I, of course, run slower. But I said, no, just don't get hurt, maintain this pace, and see what kind of pace you're training at. So that's what I did. I let the pack pull ahead, reeled one of them back in late in the race. So went through the first mile, which was mostly uphill, minus that first downhill portion of 200 meters, 7:37. Went through the second mile in 7:23, and then ran the third mile in like 7:28. And my average pace ended up being 7:26. And this was at, I would call, tempo run pace. which is slightly slower than actual race pace. It's because I didn't want to pull that hamstring. And as you saw there at the end, I was very happy I did not pull that hamstring. I feel great now. I finished 6th overall out of like 77 runners. There was a clip, the man that you saw winning. I've never met him, I've never spoken to him, but he's amazing. And I wanted to put that in there to kind of maybe motivate some people to watch these videos. That man that won that race, first out of 77 runners, he wins most of our local road races. He is 59 years old. 59 years old, and he ran that 5K this morning in 28 degrees temperatures in 1906. That's like 6:36 average mile per mile pace. I mentioned, and I didn't cut this out, even though she didn't do too well today. I mentioned a 59-year-old woman that usually beats me. She was there, but she didn't do as well as usual. I think she's maybe coming off of injury or maybe illness, who knows. But I stand solidly behind that claim that you don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing. And I'm going to point this out. I finished 6th overall. The man that finished 5th, about 20 seconds ahead of me, is 63 years old. 63 years old, and his average per mile pace would have been like 7:10, something like that. 7 minutes and 10 seconds per mile at 63 years old in 28 degree temperatures. It's amazing. And I'm getting to the strangest thing I ever saw in the woods really quick, but I want to mention this. You know, there at the end, I gave a shout out to Muhammad Ali, God rest his soul. I've never boxed. I've never been a boxer. I would probably suck at it. I would probably get my face rearranged. But I really respect boxers, and some of my biggest role models are boxers. Ali, George Foreman, Tyson Fury, the new guy, the Gypsy King. And here's why. Even though I've never participated in their sport, and I don't think I'd be very good at it, you know, I'm a distance runner, and track and cross country were my sports in my youth, where I excelled, and, you know, state champion in high school, track scholarship. Boxers get it. By the time they step into the ring, they understand they've already competed for months and years against their greatest competitor, and that is themselves. Same with distance runners, golfers, wrestlers, swimmers. The thing I love about individual sports, and the 59-year-old man who won the race today, and the 59-year-old woman who usually does really well when she's healthy, and the 63-year-old man that smoked me today, they understand this. It doesn't matter if you're aged. It doesn't matter if you're a girl. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about you and how you're going to do. And we saw that with the Rumble in the Jungle, one of the great sporting events of all time, but especially the last century. Everybody thought, you know, George Foreman was going to knock Ali out in less than 3 rounds, just like they thought Sonny Liston was going to knock him out in the first round when they fought and Ali beat him to win the title. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says. When it's an individual sport, you can be as good as you want to be, and it's based upon the work you're willing to do. And it transpires athletics. You know, when I was a kid and I was a state champion, a lot of people used to say, yeah, well, that's not going to do you much good in the real world. Whoop-de-doo, you can run fast. Well, you know, I would have referred to those people at the time as vertically challenged individuals who live under bridges. Yes, it does transfer, because any work I've ever done, be it in writing, be it in social media content creation, you look at, you know, PewDiePie, for example, on YouTube. Oh, I could never be like PewDiePie. Why not? If you look at any work I've done in the past, I used to be in sales. When I came over here to the Charlottesville area after spending the first 25 years of my life in West Virginia, they used to say, oh, dumb hillbilly from West Virginia, nobody's going to do business with you, you talk like a hick. It didn't matter what they said. As long as I went out and made 25 to 30 contacts a day, cold calls, knocking on people's doors, and I met enough people, I would be successful, and it turned out I was. When you're dealing with individual sports, you learn that you can be as good as you want to be. You don't have to depend upon a team. you only have to compete against yourself. And if you're willing to push yourself further than the next guy, or further than the next girl is willing to push himself or herself, you can get it done. And it does transfers over to life. Okay. If I didn't have that fortitude and that stick with itness that I learned as a distance runner in my youth, running sometimes 70 miles a week, mostly at 6 minute per mile pace or faster, there's no way I would, oh wow, I've made 250 videos on YouTube and we're not even monetized yet, I should quit. No, I learned from distance running. Well, you just need to keep putting in more miles. You just need to keep creating more content. So with that said, I will now get to one of the strangest things I've ever experienced in the woods. And it has to do with running. I know a lot of you probably already clicked away from the video. Oh, this is boring. I didn't come here to hear about running. So when I was senior year in high school, I believe, or junior year in high school, one of the two, I trained relentlessly. And there were trails in the forests around the mountains of Appalachia where I grew up, and I just run 6 miles, 8 miles, 10 miles through trails in the woods, up and down, straight up mountainsides. And this one day, I was having a particularly good run. I felt great. That day, I felt like I could beat anybody in the world. And I remember thinking, man, I wish I had someone to race. And I started hearing brum, 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 like steps coming up from behind me, like hoof prints or something. And I thought, what in the world is that? I mean, I was 5 or 6 miles out of a tiny little town it says wide spot in the road, hours away from anything that could be considered a city. So I keep running, and and I just thought, I feel challenged. So I picked up the pace, and coming past me on my left was a freaking greyhound. Yes, the dog, a greyhound, just comes right past me and like gives me a glance as he passes me, like, who the hell are you? Keeps on going. And I thought, well, hell, there's what I was asking for. There's my competition. And I stayed on that greyhound's tail for the rest of that run. It just stayed on the trail, went back to my house. And I thought, this is so weird. What is a greyhound doing up here in the middle of nowhere? Now, this is going back 30 years. This was 30 years ago. So I got home, and I can't remember if it was either my mother saw the dog and my dad didn't, or my dad saw the dog and my mother didn't. But I got home, and I went in the house, and I was like, you guys aren't going to believe what I brought home with me. And they're like, oh, gosh, what? I said, a freaking greyhound. And so one of my parents came out. I don't think they believed me. I can't remember which one it was. Saw the dog sitting on the porch staring at us. So then we went back in the house, and that parent told the other parent, he's serious, there's a freaking greyhound out here. So then the other parent came, and we all went out on the porch, and the dog was just completely gone. It had completely vanished. And so I took off jogging back in the direction towards the mountain where the trail comes out into the small town. Never saw that dog again, ever. But one of my parents actually saw it with me, but then just as mysteriously as it had shown up on that trail on top of the mountain, it vanished. So my father tried to explain it logically. He explained that there is a greyhound dog racetrack I think it's in Charlestown, West by God, Virginia, which is up in the Panhandle, which is close to the DC area, which would actually be closer to where I am now in Virginia than this place down in southern West Virginia, or central West Virginia. And he said that sometimes once those dogs are past their prime and they can't race anymore, it's a terrible story, that their owners will just take them out and drop them off in the woods. That's believable, and I can see some dirtbag human beings doing that type of thing when they use an animal for profit, and then once the profits are gone, just dumping it like that. But I will tell you, of the years and years and years I spent in those mountains, running, hiking, fishing, hunting, I never saw a greyhound before that, and I had never seen one since. And all these 30 years later, I've just never had an experience like that. It was very surreal, and so it's a weird story, and that's what I do. I come out here in the woods and I tell weird stories. So there's your weird story for today. I hope you enjoyed the footage of the race if you got through it. Like I said, I didn't re-injure that hamstring, but I can tell it is a bit tender. I'm going to use that old man carefulness, I think, going forward. And I think I'm done racing until spring or summer. I'm not done training, not by any means. I have a particular goal in mind that I want to achieve. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter who laughs at me, as long as I believe I can do it. And I'm willing to put in the work to do it. Listen, that's the thing. Key word there, work. Doesn't matter if it's athletics, if it's your job, if it's, my job, writing, social media content. Well, of course, if you do a little bit and say, it's not working out, and you stop, of course it's not going to work out. But if you keep going, if you keep working, if you keep pushing, it's just a matter of time. Sometimes you just got to give time more time. So that's the plan. But what I am going to do is I'm not so sure I'm going to be getting out here in these sub-zero temperatures, just because of I was doing it up until now because race time's 8 a.m. Okay. And so I wasn't as shocked by the 28 degrees temperatures as the folks who run on treadmills indoors or who wait until 2 p.m. when temperatures get up into the mid 50s and run then. They had it, they were fighting the elements today as well. I didn't. I run at 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning every morning. As soon as my kid gets on the bus and leaves, I'm usually just right there behind the bus doing my training. So, but I am going to change that up because it doesn't matter how much you train. If you stay injured, you're not going to be able to do what you want to do. And so I am going to wait, I think, and run in warmer temperatures. So that's it for today. I hope it motivated somebody. Again, man, came in 193 at the beginning of the year. Now I'm down to 168. I don't need to lose any more weight. This is a nice healthy weight. I could tone up a little bit. But if somebody is out there and you've been thinking, well, I need to start getting to the gym, or I need to start jogging, I need to start walking, I hope this showed you it's possible. Doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, if you're 23 or if you're 63 or if you're 73. Just be careful. Don't hurt yourself. And we'll see you for more again next time.